How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a good day. Today we have stories of Gen Z girls doing Gen Z moment stuff. I mean, you already know what that's about to be. I know for a fact you'll enjoy this video, so let's sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's just jump right into it. As always, submit these stories to me at either my Twitter or Instagram. Both are Connor Pugs, both are in the description. And also, watch all these stories on Spotify. You normally get them a couple hours early too. And let's call the first subscriber who submitted the story Crawford. So anyways, right, Crawford was in a class, and there was a class project that they all had to do. And when Crawford walked in one day, he was kind of aware of the project, but he wasn't exactly sure if, is this going to be one of those projects where I have to do this by myself? Is it going to be a really big group project of 3 to 4 people? Or is this going to be one of those group projects where it's it's you and one other person, and if you get a really bad partner, you're screwed. So anyways, Crawford walks in the class, he sits down and he waits for the teacher, and the teacher's like, all right, class, I just want to let you guys know, we have a pretty big project coming up, it'll be due by the end of the week, and I will be giving you random assigned partners of 2. Crawford in his head's like, oh God, please have mercy, please have mercy. And his teacher was reading out the names, and eventually Crawford heard his name, and he also heard the name of a Gen Z girl. And that's a very, very broad distinction, because Gen Z is literally just a category of what year you were born in. So you might be thinking, what does that even mean, Connor? So when I say Gen Z, I just mean when you see Gen Z memes on the internet. That's what I'm referring to. And for the rest of this video, I'm just going to call her the Gen Z girl. Just make it nice and easy for both of us. So anyways, Crawford goes over to the Gen Z girl, and she's on her phone, and she's just on Instagram or Twitter or something and making TikTok. She's not even paying attention to him. Crawford's like, hey, what's up? How's it going? And Gen Z girl's like, hey, goes back at her phone. Crawford's like, yeah, I was wondering if during our free period, this week, you wanted to meet up and work on this project. So basically at this school, they had free periods. They everyone at the same time had a free period. It was kind of like recess, but you could do literally whatever you wanted. I mean, within some exceptions, can't do anything crazy, but you know what I mean. And, Crawford was looking at the Gen Z girl and was like, hey, do you want to do this while we're during our free period? The Gen Z girl looks up and says, yeah, that makes sense, sure. Crawford's like, all right, bet, cool. Can I get your Instagram? And the Gen Z girl's like, are you hitting on me? And Crawford's just looking at her dude, we're class partners. I am not hitting on you. So he says, no, I just need to contact you. And she's like, that sounds suspicious, but whatever. And she gives him his Instagram. So immediately Crawford knows that he's going to be in for a ride. To say the least, he's about to be in for a ride. And sure enough, Crawford the next day comes around after class. So they're in that class again. And by the end of the class, he goes up to the Gen Z girl who he's partners with and is like, hey, just a reminder, today at, a free period, do you want to meet up and do this? And the Gen Z girl's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And Crawford, during the free period, gets up, goes to, because they agree that the place where you do your homework during the free period is they have this kind of open library. There's a bunch of tables, a bunch of desks, basically a bunch of working space. And if anyone at the school does work during the free period, it is always here. So Crawford goes over, he sits down, and he's just kind of waiting. And he's waiting. And the thing is, they only have 30 minutes for free during the free period, and they only have one every single day. So that's not a lot of time, and this project is kind of big. It's kind of big news, right? And it's Crawford's kind of just sitting there, and 15 minutes go by, so 50% of the time is done. So he sends an Instagram DM being like, hey, are you coming? And it immediately gets seen, and he gets no response. The Gen Z girl has just left Crawford on red, asking if she's gonna come. So sure enough, Crawford literally sits there, wasting his entire free period. And 30 minutes go by, the bell rings, and he has to go off to class. So the next day comes around, and he's back in class with the Gen Z girl. And before class, he goes up to her and is like, hey, why weren't you in the free period yesterday? And she's like, oh, sorry, I forgot. And Crawford kind of holds his tongue, because he's like, okay, I know she saw my message. Maybe it was a glitch or something. Maybe she saw it. And, epic Bed Wars move, Connor. That was fantastic. Really play the game right there. Anyways, and maybe she kind of ignored it. Maybe, whatever, right? That's fine. Next day comes around. Crawford goes to the room, or not the room, but the library during the free period. He waits 10 minutes, and once again, she is not there. So he sends her another text over on Instagram being like, hey, just a reminder, like, I'm in the library for free period. We really got to work on this. So he's like, hey, come on now. It's time for us to go. And once again, he gets aired. So the next day comes around. Remember, it is, I think, Wednesday, and it's due on Friday. So before class again with the Gen Z girl, he goes up to her and is like, hey, why weren't you at, like, study hall yesterday? Or not study hall, but why weren't you in the library during free period yesterday? And once again, she's like, oh, I don't know, I forgot. And this time, Crawford's not going to let this slide. He says, hey, I saw that you read my messages. I saw that you read my message yesterday, or 2 days ago, and yesterday. And, like, you didn't respond to them. I know that you knew that I was in the library. I can't have you keep airing me like this. This is ridiculous. Like, we need to work on this project. And she's like, geez, relax. I didn't know that you were going to get so salty when I rejected you on Monday, that you were going to, like, blame it all on me. And Crawford is looking at her with his look of just confusion. And that's when he remembers that when he asked for her Instagram for contact reasons, right? Maybe he could ask for her number or Snapchat or something. But even those two are sus. What do you want? Like her Telegram account? Like, what are we asking for? Or the WeChat account? Like, well, where are we, bro? And sure enough, Crawford's like, oh my God. Crawford's like, look, no, I'm not mad about that. And also, I wasn't hitting on you, but I'm not that's not what I'm mad about. I'm not even mad. I just want you to show up. I just want you to show up for this. It's a big assignment. I don't want to have to do it all by myself. And, you do get graded on your individual work for this. It's like, worst comes to worst, I just do this all myself. And, like, you're like, that's going to be bad on you. I don't want to do all this by myself. I want to do it with someone. I'm giving you the opportunity. Please, today at free period, I will be in the library. And once again, Robert's the name for the next story. Crawford is sitting in the library, and you know what? This time, he doesn't wait for her. He just immediately gets to work. And about 10 minutes in, he sends a message being like, hey, I'm in the library again. You should really come over. I've already started, but you should still come and help with it. Once again, he goes, she does not show up, but Crawford actually gets some good progress done. And at home, Crawford starts doing some of it for homework. Even though he had other homework to do, he realized that he was 2 days behind because he was just waiting around for her for the last 2 days. So sure enough, that time goes by. And he goes up to her in class on Thursday, the day before before Friday, where they present. They have one more free period left. And he goes up to her and is like, hey, look, like, we only have one free period left. I'm going to be in the library today. If you want to do anything for the project, I don't know what else to say, but you should come. Remember, we're being graded individually for the work that we do. And, like, the Gen Z girl was literally on TikTok, just looking at renegade TikToks the entire time. And he's like, okay, that's fine. I will be there, and let me know if you choose to show up. Once again, Crawford goes to the library, and you know who isn't there? You know who is not there? The Gen Z girl. So Crawford's like, screw it. I'm going to finish this. Crawford, who's very smart and very efficient at what he does, finishes the entire project. And he gets it all done. It's totally fine. It's totally done. And the presentation is literally just going to be them standing up there and reading out slides or whatever. So it's like, not as if the Gen Z girl isn't going to know what to do when she goes up there. Like, I don't know. Crawford will just read up all the slides or whatever. So sure enough, that night, Crawford goes back home, and he's just sitting in bed. All of his homework is done. The project due tomorrow is done. He's ready for it. Things are good. And that's when he gets a DM back. This is the first message back he's gotten from the Gen Z girl after being left unseen for like 4 times or something. And she says, hey, if you tell the teacher that I didn't do anything, I'm gonna write a Twitter thread about you and get you canceled. And Crawford just he saw the notification for the message, and he looked at it briefly, and he was convinced that he read it wrong. So he went into Instagram, he opened up, and by the way, follow my Instagram, Connor Pugs, in the description. He opened up the DM with the Gen Z girl, and he looked at it. He took a screenshot just in case she unsent it because it was so insane. Then he did a screen recording just to prove that it was real because it was so insane. And he's looking at it, and he just looks at the message, and it truly says, if you don't lie about me doing work, I'm going to write a thread about you on Twitter and get you canceled. And Crawford looks at it and replies, I'm not going to lie to the teacher if prompted. Basically, what Crawford meant by that is, I'm not going to go out of my way to say you didn't do anything, even though I easily could. However, if the teacher asks, like, I'm going to tell him the truth. I'm not going to lie about it, because, like, why would he give her anything, right? He's being generous in the fact that he's not going to say it all outright. So the next day is in class. Crawford sits down, and the Gen Z girl comes up to him and says, hey, you finished our project, right? Crawford's like, of course I did. I always get my stuff done on time. Gives her kind of a look. And she's like, so what are we doing? We just go up there and we read out the slides? And Crawford's like, yes, that's all you got to do. Go up there. I have one slide for you to read. I'm going to do the other four. As long as you can read, you'll be okay. The Gen Z girl says, by the way, if the teacher says anything about like how the work was done, you can't tell them that I didn't do anything. Crawford's like, and because I will write a Twitter thread on you and get you canceled on Twitter, and you don't want that. Crawford, who barely has an Instagram account and has a YouTube account literally only to watch videos, does not have a Tumblr, does not have a Twitter, does not have a MySpace, does not have Discord, thank God. He's a follower of Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, so that's a W right there. He does not have Discord. That's one of the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not go on Discord. Weird place. Anyways, join our Discord server. Link in description. Not even kidding. And Crawford's just looking at her like, okay. Crawford has no intention of caring about that. So they go up there, and Crawford does his 3 slides great, and the Gen Z girl barely stumbles out the words on the screen. And you know why? Because she didn't know what the words were going to be. She didn't prepare. She had no idea what was coming. She was literally just reading off like the slide. It was terrible. And yeah, they went back down, and, they probably were going to get a good grade. And, the teacher just, sent like basically a very basic, handed out a very basic form that kind of just said, oh, can you give me some feedback about this project? Can you give me some feedback about this group? How did it go? And one of the questions was the work divided up equally? If not, explain. And Crawford was like, I'm just going to say what happened. And Crawford, very in detail, wrote down everything, right? He basically said, hey, I gave her all these chances. She literally did nothing, and she threatened to, expose me online if I didn't. Which sounds insane, and Crawford says, I literally have proof, by the way, if you want it via email. So Crawford was like, screw it, I'm going all out, right? And, the next, a couple days go by, and the grades get posted. And, he gets a DM from the Gen Z girl. Because the grades were posted, Crawford got a 92, because he did well, and the Gen Z girl says, that's it, you're getting exposed. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Gen Z down below. I just want to see how many people made it this far into the video, and I really do appreciate it. I like seeing your names and faces. Also, if you want to support the channel even more than you already are doing, what you can do is just keep on watching videos. That's literally it. Go to my Storytime playlist, or just watch more videos in the recommended after this one. It really helps me out. And let me know what you're doing while watching these videos. I am actually interested. Also, these videos are most of the time posted 1 or 2 hours early on Spotify. So if you want to get a little sneak preview, or you just prefer to listen to this on Spotify, it is the first link in the description. Use code ConnorPugs on GamerSupps for 10% off. It helps you, it helps me. If you want to if you want to submit stories, you can do so to either my Twitter or Instagram. Follow me on those platforms, and then send me a DM, and I will add them to the archive. We have a Discord server. It's linked in the description. Leave a like if you haven't already. Turn on notifications, or you're not cool, and let's get back to the story. So sure enough, Crawford is, then linked a tweet. And he has to download, he has to make a Twitter account, right? And he opens up Twitter, he opens up the link, and it says, why Crawford is a terrible person, a thread, ... And it goes 1, okay, I don't think it's he sucks. 2, he smells. 3, he's the worst. 4, he's a walking L. 5, he's the embodiment of an L. 6, L Crawford. It's not that lame, but it's basically just being oh, he's the worst person ever. He was so annoying to me. He was hitting on me and couldn't take no as an answer. It was the most dumbest stuff ever. Unfortunately, the thing is, right, not unfortunately, fortunately, the Gen Z girl was not smart enough to add the last name of Crawford, which also Crawford could just say it's anyone, right? And the thing is, the Gen Z girl had 3 followers on her account. Follow me on Twitter so that I have more than 3 followers. Let's beat the Gen Z girl, guys. Come on now. Anyways, and the Gen Z girl has 3 followers. So the thread got 1 like from the Gen Z girl's account. That was the 1 like on the account. So thankfully, Crawford was okay. And the Gen Z girl ended up failing because she didn't do anything. Oh no, not a Twitter thread. No. Okay, we're going to call the subscriber the next story Robert. So anyways, right, Robert was in class, and there was this girl in his class who always was kind of like looking at him and watching him and just like, okay, I made it sound really weird because it was kind of weird. And Robert was a little bit creeped out by the whole thing, but he didn't really think that much of it. He's like, oh, whatever, like, this girl probably just accidentally staring at people. Because here's the thing, I will be in public spaces. I will space out for minutes at a time thinking about something. Maybe there's just like a little hamster running around in a hamster wheel in my brain. I don't know what's going on. And I kind of like focus back into what's going on, and I realize I've been locking eyes with a person for like 10 minutes. It's so embarrassing, but I do it all the time. And a lot of people do end up doing that, and especially if you're not super focused, that happens all the time. And I'm someone who is very spacey. So Robert always thought that this girl was just, I don't know, it was just like a girl who just like accidentally was staring at him. Little did he know that she had basically Wattpad levels of obsession with this guy. This was frickin' Dream SMP Heat Waves level. Yes, I know about it. I wish I didn't. And for you who know, I'm so sorry as well. Anyways, Robert was like, he didn't know anything about it. But one day, Robert was added to a group chat with everyone else in the class. So Robert just added everyone to his contacts because he was like, I might need to know this later, like maybe I'll be assigned a project, maybe I'll need to hit someone up. There's only like 20 people in his class, and they all said their names in the group chat, and he added it. And we're going to call this girl Kate, right? So anyways, he adds Kate to his contacts, and Robert has a Twitter account to follow like sports and Bitcoin. Like it's a very just like dude account, right? He has like an egg profile. Oh, okay, it's no longer an egg. It used to be back in the day. If you had a Twitter account without a profile pic, it was like an egg or something. Now it's like a head or something. He had a very basic Twitter account, but I don't know if you know about this feature, but like it'll say allow you to access your contacts. So Robert said, yeah, sure, whatever. Like maybe like the boys are on Twitter or something. He says access, and he sees an account, and it literally is like, it says like Kate and your contacts, because it says like whose contact it is, and it's like a bunch of random letters and numbers. So like if you wanted to make like a secretive Twitter account, and he looks at it, and it's like a very secretive Twitter account or something. It's just a bunch of random letters and numbers. He clicks into it. He's like, oh, looks like Kate has like a burner account or something, which why would you use your number on a burner account? Beats me, bro. But anyways, not the point of the video. Sure enough, he clicks into it, and there's one super long thread. So Robert clicks into the thread, and it's literally like the beginning of a fan fiction of Kate and Robert. And he's just like, the thing is, the worst thing too, is she says she uses her name and Robert's name. And yes, it could have been a stand-in name. It could have been anything, right? It could have been literally anyone, but no, it was not. It was too much of a coincidence because she speaks about the class that they're in. She describes Robert with like short black hair, which he has. She described one of the shirts he was wearing like a week ago, and Robert was just like, oh my God. And I'm not going to get into the details of it because YouTube Thunderbolt, YouTube's going to Thunderbolt my account, bro, if I get way too into it. It's not like crazy, but it's like, I've definitely typed my name into Wattpad before, and thankfully I found nothing. That is not, I don't want to see any changes with that though. Don't do it. Don't do it, okay? Anyways, so Robert is going through this Twitter thread. The most insane thing he's ever seen. And at the very end of it, it has a link, and it says, more stuff like this here, and it's a Wattpad account. If you don't know, Wattpad is a site where if you go to it, your computer will explode, you'll die instantly, so don't go there. Anyways, he clicks on the link, and it brings to an account. It is Kate's personal account, and there's a book on there. And by a book, I mean 50 chapters. And by 50 chapters, I mean 50 chapters. 50 chapters of Robert and Kate fan fiction. Also, I think I'm calling someone not legit in the chat for Bed Wars. I don't know. His hits were kind of weird, but also it's high pixel, so I think it was actually legit. Anyways, Robert's looking at this. He's like, oh my God. And he starts reading through it. It is legitimately 50 chapters of a book. It is like War and Peace level novel of Kate x Robert fan fiction. And he's just like, why? What did I do to deserve this? Why am I alive? Just to suffer. So he's going through this. He's like, this is the most insane stuff he's ever seen. He gets the boys on call, goes on like, I don't know, Discord or FaceTime or something, gets them all on, links them this. They all start like cackling behind the scenes like, yo, this is freaking crazy. Like, bro, this is the most insane thing I've ever had. Someone's like, yo, are you gonna hit? Because I know she definitely hit. And Robert's like, shut up, this is weird. And one of the guys was like, all right. This is a very delicate situation. And someone's like, lol. He's like, shut up, it's a delicate situation. Robert, this is very weird. Like, this is an obsession. There's no way around it. 50 chapters, goddamn. And Robert's like, shut up, I know. He's like, okay, I'm sorry, I had to do it. I have to do it to you. And he's like, 50 chapters, that's a lot of writing. You know, this girl probably gets F's in English, but can write like War and Peace level novels about you. So I don't know what to say about that, but it is what it is. And Robert's like, hey, do you think I could like get out of that class? And Robert's, you know, his friends are like, I don't know, it's pretty late in the year. And Robert's like, well, here's the thing. I know that my teacher, Miss Davenport, in that class, you know, she has another class later in the day, and it's during one of my frees. I think I could switch classes. So sure enough, Robert sends a teacher saying, hey, I just want to like, is it possible for me to switch into one of your later classes? I know it's not like easy with the paperwork, but there's something that's gone down that makes me feel very uncomfortable in the class that you're in right now. So Miss Davenport gets back to him and says, hey, Robert, I think that can, like, if you really do have if you have a free, which, you know, he said he did, I think I can make that work. Basically, both my classes are at the same point. The other class is a little bit behind, so you actually would be a little ahead if I switched you. I can have this done as soon as Tuesday. Not as soon as Monday, as soon as Tuesday. You know what that means? That means Robert went, and for Monday, Robert was in class that day. And when Robert, he's like, okay, this is my last day in this class. He sits down in the very front of the room. And, like, there's some of his boys in that class. And they're just like, he's like, dude, shut up. And, like, the girl, like Kate, was sitting in the very back. And Robert turned around very briefly. And he locked eye contact with Kate. And he quickly turned around. Because normally he wouldn't care. But at this point, he's found the Wattpad. He's found the Wattpad. Run, guys, run. No, he's read what she's written about him. He's like, I gotta get out of here, man. So sure enough, Robert's like, okay, this is weird. I gotta escape. And he's just sitting there. He's just very awkwardly sitting. And he's just waiting. He's honestly just waiting for the class to be done. And he kind of like looks over and he sees one of his friends walking up to Kate. And he's like, what are you doing? And he looks, and the friend is like over at Kate, whispers something in her ear, points to Robert, and then she smiles and like covers her smile. And Robert is like, I'm gonna beat your ass if you said anything that isn't true. So basically, the friend comes back up to the front, whispers in Robert's ear, like, yo, I just said that you have a big crush on her. And Robert's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why? What, do you hate me? And his friend's like, lol, trolling moment. And Robert's like, I gotta find new friends. So like the bell rings and Kate gets up and starts walking quickly to Robert. And Robert's like, oh, hell no, bro, I'm getting out of here. Robert gets up and quickly this power walks out of the class and literally power walks into the boys' bathroom. He just sits there for like 10 minutes. He knows he's going to be a little late to his next class, but he just can't risk it. The next day, he's moved. His class has moved, right? Now he's in a different section. And from that point on, he really doesn't see Kate ever again. He sees her occasionally in the hallways, but it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, kind of, it's weird, but, his friends say that, Kate, kept on updating her Wattpad or Twitter account or whatever for, a couple weeks, but after about a couple weeks of Robert not being in her class, she kind of quit the account and the obsession stopped. But, that was Robert's experience with a Gen Z girl. Final story, we're going to call the subscriber Merritt. So Merritt was on the soccer team, and one Friday evening, right after practice, right, Merritt just wanted to continue, and some of his friends wanted to continue practicing for the game they had tomorrow. They didn't want to wear themselves out, but there was just a few, maneuvers, a few things that they didn't feel like they got done in practice that they just wanted to get done later. So they're on the field. They're on this field. It's not necessarily a soccer field, but it's a field adjacent to it at least. And they're practicing some specific soccer maneuvers. I haven't played soccer in a second, so I'm not even going to pretend to know like I know what this would be. And that's when these two girls come up. And these two girls, we're just going to call them the Gen Z twins. They're not actually twins, but that's what we're going to call them. And one of the Gen Z twins is like, we need this field. And, Merritt grabs like the soccer ball and is like, what? And the Gen Z girl's like, yeah, we need this field. And Merritt's like, yo, we're playing some soccer on it. Like, can you have it later? And she's like, well, no. And we actually need it right now. Do you see that? And the Gen Z girl points to the sun. Merritt's like, yeah, that's the sun. It's epic. Keeps us warm. She's like, no, it is golden hour, Merritt. And Merritt's like, yo, sorry. Like, we're practicing here. And she's like, I want to take pictures for my Instagram in the golden hour, Merritt. Merritt's like, whoa, chill. Like, you don't need the attitude. Look, there's a lot of places to take photos, right? And the Gen Z girl's like, and there's a lot of places to play soccer, Merritt. This is just perfect for my photo. And Merritt decides to counter, hey, this is perfect for my practice. And they're kind of facing off against each other. And the Gen Z girl says, Merritt, I know your girlfriend, Stacy. And Merritt's like, yeah, what about her? The Gen Z girl's like, I'm going to tell Stacy that you hit on me and that you wanted to make out with me, but I said no. And it's going to break the two of you up. And Merritt's like, whoa, like you do that? Merritt takes out his phone, literally hits record on the voice memos. He's like, wait. Just tell me again, what would you do? I don't think I heard you right the first time. She says, I am going to tell your girlfriend, Stacy, that you wanted to hit on me and that you wanted to kiss me, but I said no, and I'm going to break you two up if you don't let me take photos in the golden hour, Merritt. I need it for the gram. You don't understand. Merritt literally hits end on the voice recording, turns up the volume, and plays the thing back. And she's like, you can't record me without my permission. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to take you to court, Merritt. You don't even understand what power I have. I got 200 followers on my Instagram. How many do you have? Merritt's like, I don't know, 40. And she's like, oh my God, he only has 40. Lol. Okay, I don't think she says lol. I don't think she actually says that. I really don't think she says that. I just added that. Anyways, Merritt's like, dude, we're not going to move. And sure enough, this entire conversation, the sun was slowly slipping away more and more, so the golden hour was quickly fleeting. The girl's like, Merritt, let me take photos here. And Merritt's like, you know what? I actually was considering it before you threatened to break me and my girlfriend up. Before that, I was actually considering to be like, yeah, sure, whatever. Maybe I'm being annoying here. Maybe you only need it for a couple minutes. And she's like, Merritt, please, this golden hour's going away, Merritt. Merritt, you can make me sad. The golden hour, Merritt's going away. It's slipping away, Merritt. Come on. Come on, Merritt. Come on, Merritt. Come on. Merritt, come on. It's the golden hour. It's slipping away. Merritt. And Merritt's literally standing there. He's like, tough. I'm going to keep playing. So Merritt goes back to playing with his friends. And, the girl decides to be like, you know what? We're just going to do it anyways. So the two Gen Z girls, they run up to where Merritt and his friends are, and they both push Merritt and his friends to the side. They both go falling down. And the Gen Z girl's like, quickly. And the other girl takes her phone out and is about to take a photo when a soccer ball hits her hand and the phone goes flying. The phone hits the grass so it doesn't crack or anything, but immediately they're like, no! And as soon as they say no, the sun slips behind and the golden hour is gone. Now any photos will be terrible. And the Gen Z girls are like, I hope you're happy. Now we can't have photos for the gram. They both walk away. And Merritt and his friends are like, well, that's tough. I really don't know what else to say. So Merritt the next day at his soccer game, he wins, by the way. His team wins. Afterwards, his girlfriend Stacy comes up to him. It's like, Merritt, that was so good. You did such a good job. I'm so proud of you. And Merritt's like, thank you. Oh, by the way, do you know the Gen Z girl? And says this is her actual name. She's like, yeah, we kind of became friends recently. And Merritt's like, well, so I might have a little bit of information that, I don't know, you might want to change your mind on being friends with her. And Stacy's like, What do you mean? Today we have a story of probably one of the funniest stories I've received in a while. It's of this girl who basically perfectly encapsulates all the Gen Z memes into one person. So sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Liam. So anyways, this all happened about 6 months ago when Liam was in class. And this was a history class, right? And so Liam, was in this history class, and the teacher was like, all right, so we're going to do a pretty big project. I will be assigning you guys random groups, random pairings. The teacher also said that the assignments were going to be random. So he went to his computer. He said, all right, so I generated a random list, and here are your partners. And he says, Liam, you are with Kenna. So Liam is the main subscriber who submitted this story, which you can do so to my Instagram or Discord, both in the description. And Kenna was this girl who was kind of just known as the annoying girl. I hate to say it. I hate to be that guy who says, oh, she was known as the annoying girl. But bro, she was simply just known as the annoying girl. I don't know how else to say it. I can't really spin it any other way, man. And, you will probably see in just a couple seconds why that is the case. But anyways, right, so Liam and Kenna, Liam went over to Kenna's desk to sit down. It's all right, well, we got this project. It's pretty big. It's also due in 2 weeks, so we have some time to do it. And the teacher did say that he's not going to give the students a lot of time in class, so they needed to figure out time together to do the project outside of class to get that all ready or whatever. So Liam was talking to Kenna and was like, all right, well, how about this weekend I go over to your house and next weekend you come over to my house to do the work? And, Kenna agreed to it and everything. And Liam was like, fine, whatever. She might be known as annoying, but she isn't known as not doing her work or stupid, right? Little did he know. But anyways, right, so the first weekend rolls around and Liam has already done a little bit of work on the presentation or the project. A lot of the project is writing based and it's done on a Google Doc. There's just some more project-y elements, they had to make some kind of presentation, and Liam just thought it'd be easier if they did that together. But the Google Doc stuff could be done on their own. So Liam has already started the Google Doc for their presentation. He has a little bit of work done. He's kind of already sketched out some ideas he has for what he wants with the presentation. He's like, I want us to do this, I want us to cover this, etc., stuff like that. And so anyways, his mom drives him over to Kenna's house and he's dropped off. And, he goes over and, he knocks on the door. He knocks on the door again. He knocks on the door a third time. And he's kind of just wait, bro, what? And, Liam walks around and he looks into the driveway and there are no cars in the driveway. And he looks down at his phone and he checks to see, he's like, all right, I texted Kenna, the Gen Z girl. All right, I said I'd be here at, 2. It is 2:05. I'm here at the time. So Liam ends up calling the girl. So he clicks call. It rings a little bit, and then it goes to voicemail, and Liam's like, there's no way. And then he receives a text back from Kenna that says, what? Question mark. And Liam's like, bro, we have a class presentation. But he says it nicer. He's like, okay, hey, I'm at the house. Remember, we're doing the presentation. And she responds the little 3 dots of responding. The 3 dots pop up, and then they go away. Then the 3 dots pop up again, and then they go away. And then eventually, right, she eventually sends a message saying, on my way, just OMW, or on my way. And Liam's like, well, what does that mean? So Liam ends up standing there and waiting there for 20 minutes when Kenna pulls up in a car with her friends, and she, is dropped off by one of her friends. And she gets out, and she's like, so, what's up? And Liam's like, hello there, because it's, been a half an hour. He's been waiting there, and Kenna's like, I'll get the keys, let's start this thing. So she goes in there, opens up the door, and they walk into her house. And it's very, earthy, crunchy vibes, whatever. It's just the vibe of some houses. So Liam, Kenna is, leads Liam over to this pretty big table. They sit down. Liam takes out, puts down his backpack, takes out his computer, opens that up, and starts talking to her, be like, hey, I've already done some work on the Google Doc that I shared with you. And Kenna's like, Google Doc? And Liam's like, yes, we went over this in class, but whatever, right? I shared it with you, a Google Doc. The majority of the work is writing. Don't forget that. So since this is a shared project, we have the next 2 weeks to do that. However, the kind of more, crafty part of the project, I thought it'd be better if we did it together in person, as that is what most everyone else is doing as well. And so, Kenna was like, all right, I guess that makes sense. And they sit down, and Liam was like, all right, so what do you want to do for the kind of like the craft kind of like presentation part? Do you want to do like a poster board? Do you want to do a... And in the middle of Liam trying to say something, he stops because he notices that Kenna is on TikTok. She's just on her phone looking at TikTok, scrolling through TikTok. She's like, and Liam's like, are you paying attention? She's like, mm-hmm. So Liam's like, so what are your thoughts? And Kenna's like, mm-hmm. So Liam knows at this point, all right, she's not paying attention. And so Liam, like, kind of like says, hey, like, I need your input here. And she's like, what? And Liam's like, okay, Liam, calmness, calm vibes. Life is good. Everything's all right. And Kenna's like, what? And Liam's like, all right, okay, so we have a part of the presentation where we need to do we need to present something. Do you want to do a poster board? Do you want to do it? She said, yep, that sounds good. Goes back to her phone. And Liam's like, all right, it's cool. We're good. This is only like half of our grade. It's going to be all right. And I can't do the whole thing by myself. Anyways, Kenna, do you have any, do you want to start? And he, takes out, he finds, because he brought a poster board. He just wanted to ask her if she wanted to do anything else. Puts the poster board on the table, has pens and, whatever with them, slides them over, and Kenna just looks at it, is like, no, I'll let you take the lead. Goes back to TikTok. And Liam's like, okay, well, how about I write and you tell me what to do? Really trying to engage with her on this one. And Kenna's like, what? And Liam's like, He's like, okay, so just what do you want to do for the present? What should we write here? What do you think is a good idea? And she said, yeah, that sounds good. And Liam's like, oh my God, I didn't even say anything. Calm, Liam, calm yourself. Collected, control yourself. Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. And so Liam eventually just starts, and he's like, you know what, whatever input you want to give is totally fine, whenever you want to. And Kenna's like, I'm actually going to go over to that room, and she points to, a room with a TV and a couch. I'm going to go over there. And Liam's like, what? She says, I'll be right back. And Liam's like, okay, fine. So Liam is working away at, the poster board. He uses, a pencil to kind of outline his ideas, and he's starting to fill it out in, Sharpie, because he's like, it's not like Kenna's going to give any expertise in this situation, or she's not going to give any expert advice or anything. And so Liam looks over, and he sees Kenna sitting on the couch making TikToks, bro. Liam came over to her house, had to wait around for half an hour for a project that they were both assigned. It's not like this is something that Liam wants to do and Kenna's humoring him or anything. He comes over to her house. She completely ignores him at the table, literally just ignores him. Then when she says, I'll be right back, he's in a different room making freaking TikToks. And so Liam, shouts over, it's like, hey, Kenna, do you want to come help with this? And Kenna, puts down her phone, releases a really loud sigh, turns around and says, Liam, I was in the middle of a TikTok and you just ruined it. I'm going to have to make the whole TikTok over again because of you. And Liam's like, I'm sorry, but after that TikTok, do you want to come over and help? This is a two-person project. I don't know if I can do this all myself. And Kenna was like, fine, I'll come over and help. Just let me do this. And so Kenna stays on the couch, makes a TikTok, is done. Seems like she's done. Liam looks over. She makes another TikTok. So for the rest of that entire day, right? Liam literally spends the entire day at Kenna's house just making TikToks. Literally nothing else. She's just making TikToks the entire time. And so Liam finishes up the poster and is like, all right, whatever. They're still planning to meet the next week and there's still a little bit more to do. And, Liam's like, all right, I'm going to go. This is the time that I'm going to get picked up. Bye. I'll see you at my house next week. And Kenna's like, okay. And just continues on TikTok, right? So Liam gets in the car, and Liam's mom's like, oh, was that productive? And Liam was like, no, that was not productive. She's the worst. She refuses to help. And Liam's mom's like, well, there's always people like that. I'm sorry that's happening to you. And Liam's like, I'm sorry that's happening to me too. So anyways, the next week happens. And remember, the big part of this is the Google document. They have to be doing a lot of research and all that. And Liam is giving Kenna every single day, talking to her about it in class, giving her reminders. Liam's not even going ahead and doing it all. He's like doing it incrementally each day to make sure that they keep on schedule, but giving her an opportunity every single day to do something. And she said, yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it every single day. What? Yeah, no, I'll do it. I'll do something. She is not even logged into the Google Doc yet. She's not made one edit. She's not made one change. She's done nothing at this point. So Liam is starting to pull his hair out. And remember, so a week has passed. It's now Saturday. And this is where they planned to meet at Liam's house for this one. So Liam, like, his mom and dad are gone. It's just him in the house. He brings out the poster. He brings out the Google Doc. He brings out everything, right? And he's just got it all situated, and he's got it all set, and he's just waiting. And it's 2 o'clock, and then it's 2:15, and then it's 2:30, and then it's 3. So he calls up Kenna, and once again, it goes to voicemail. He's like, oh, my God. And then he gets a response from her, what? And he's like, oh, my God. And he responds like, Kenna, like, you're supposed to be at my house working on this presentation that's worth 50% of our grade that we have to give in a couple days. And Kenna responds, fine, but I'm going to Starbucks first. I need my Starbucks. And Liam's like, "Bleh!" Like, it's 4 in the afternoon. Why do you need freaking Starbucks right now? Is that the top priority, bro? Apparently it was the top priority. Because an hour later, Kenna shows up to the house with like a Starbucks cup and is like, do you have a trash? Because she opens up and she's like, oh, do you have a trash can for my Starbucks cup? And Liam's like, yeah, it's over there. And Kenna looks at the trash can and then just puts the Starbucks cup, like the empty like trash, right, on his table and moves on. And Liam is like, are you serious? Like, the disrespect never stops with you. It just never stops. Why? It just turns up to the sky. Why, Lord? Why do you just do this to make me suffer? Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Gen Z down below. I just want to see how many people made it this far into the video. I'll try and heart a bunch of comments to say that. And then also, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do so is by binge watching the videos. And by that, I mean sitting down and watching a bunch of videos in one sitting. Maybe it be 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. And if you are doing so, please comment down below either how many videos you watched or what you're doing while watching the videos. And I will try, I just want to know how you're supporting the channel because I appreciate it. I'll heart it, I'll comment, and I'll even shout some people out like the people on screen right now. Thank you to these people as well as you guys. Let's get back to the story. So anyways, right, Liam and Kenna are now sitting at Liam's kitchen table. It is 2 hours since she's been here, and Liam's like, all right, we have a little bit to do with a poster. We have a decent amount to do with the Google Doc, and I just think we should talk about how we're going to split up this work, and also maybe just go over how our presentation is going to be. Like, when we turn this, like, I just want to have an overview. So they weren't actually going to present it in front of everyone, but there was kind of like a presentation element where, like, one of them or both of them would kind of do a quick overview to the teacher, so the teacher would know, like, what to look at and kind of, like, just get a sense, like, kind of get, like, a roadmap of what was going on, right? And so Kenna gets up and is like, okay, I'm listening. And Liam's like, what? So she starts like walking around his house, or not around his house, around his kitchen, like poking and prying at things. And that's when she opens the refrigerator door. And Liam is like, ma'am, what is going on over here? Ma'am, please. Like, what is going on over here? What are we doing right now? I just don't understand what's going on, man. Someone please tell me. And kind of like opens it and goes, oh my God. And Liam's like, what? Like, why are you saying that? And Kenna's like, is this a meat product? You should know that I'm a vegan. And Liam's like, well, I didn't offer you a meat product. I didn't offer you like salami or something. And Kenna's like, no, you don't understand. You invited me to a house with meat in it. And Liam's like, well, yeah, I mean, I didn't offer it to you. Like, I didn't know you were a vegan, but it's not like I knew you were a vegan and offered you a hot dog or something. And Kenna's like, oh, no, this is unacceptable. This is why I have not been doing any work. And Liam's like, this is not why you've been doing any work? And she said, yes, because I know you were going to set me up. And Liam's like, no. Look, Kenna, we have a project that's worth 50% of our grade. Can we just sit down and do a little bit? And Kenna said, you know what? Today is not working for me. She gets up and she walks out of the house, gets in her car and drives away. And Liam is like, okay, screw this girl, right? She's the worst. I'm just going to finish the project on my own. And Liam ends up just grinding it out and finishes up the entire project that night, giving her ample opportunity to do work. Within 2 days, it is time for them to hand it in to the teacher. So on that Monday, they get into class, and Liam goes over to Kenna, and Kenna's like, I'm not talking to you. And Liam says, I don't care if you're talking to me or not. I'm going to tell you what's up with our presentation that we're handing in tomorrow that's worth 50% of our grade. Don't you want to go to one of those fancy, like, little liberal art colleges? Last time I checked, they care about your grades. And if this is 50% of your grade, if we get a 0, you fail the class, Kenna. You fail the freaking class. You think they want to see an F in your transcript? I didn't think so, so you're going to want to hear what I want to say. Kenna's like, I'm listening. And Liam said, there is one last thing on the Google Doc that I have not done. You need to do it tonight so that you have done something. I will not complain that you've been the worst person to work with and have done nothing if you do one thing on the Google Doc tonight. And Kenna's like, fine. You know, I've helped a lot with moral support. Fine, I'll cave to your silly demands. And Liam was like, in his head, he's like, moral support? I swear to God, I will. He's like, okay, that's all you got to do. It's not that much. Just get it done, and we'll have no problems. So anyways, Liam is sitting there Monday night, right? Their presentation is tomorrow, Tuesday. And he's sitting there, and he's looking at the Google Doc. And he has it open. He's not doing anything. He's done all of his homework. He's just playing some video games or whatever, watching a movie. He has the Google Doc open the entire time, just to see if the Gen Z girl, Kenna, was going to do anything. She doesn't go on to it, so he's like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep tonight. When I wake up tomorrow, she maybe has a messed up sleeping schedule. She goes to bed at like 2 in the afternoon, maybe, I don't know. So maybe when I wake up tomorrow, it's all magically going to be there. The next day he wakes up. Remember, Liam has like 20 minutes to get ready to go to school. He wakes up and there's nothing there. And he's like, I swear to God, Kenna. So he goes there, he types up something quickly. It's not his best work, but it is work and it's passable. It's fine, right? And he's like, I swear to God, like, I'm going to say something. And so he gets in the car and he like drives over to school, or his mom picks him up and drives him over to school. And, he gets there and he walks in and he's like, has his poster board, has his laptop. He's ready to submit it. And he sees something really, really strange. He sees Kenna and the teacher standing together in the back of the classroom, talking. And Liam at first was like, oh, Kenna must be admitting that, she sucks and she's done nothing this entire time. Spoiler, that's not what she was doing. And that's when the teacher looked over at Liam with this very disapproving look. And Liam's like, okay, she better not be trying to play something right now. She better not be trying to play something. I swear to God. And so the teacher walks over, ends the conversation with Kenna, gives her a smile, walks over to Liam, says, Liam, I think we got to talk outside. And Liam's like, okay, sure. Whatever happens is what happens. And there's nothing I can do about it. Liam's starting to get a little crazy, right? So he goes outside, and the teacher's like, Liam, Kenna told me that you've done nothing for this entire presentation. She says that she's slaved away and done all the work, and that you haven't even tried. And Liam just stares at him blankly. And, Kenna says that, she was giving you a lot of opportunities to do work on, the Google Doc, and you kept putting it off, and then she had to finish it last night. Liam stares at him blankly once again, trying not to have his head freaking explode. And the teacher's like, I really saw more in you. You were always such a go-getter. And you also taunted her about being a vegan with meat? Like, hey, Liam, this is ridiculous. I mean, you're most likely going to fail this assignment. I mean, Kenna's going to get an A from this because of all the work she put in, but I think you're going to have to end up failing this assignment. We're going to have to take it to the principal's office. And Liam just breaks into a massive smile. The teacher's like, Liam, are you not taking this seriously? He's like, teacher, you're not going to believe what I'm going to say, but I'm going to show you proof that backs it up and you can't deny the proof. Teacher's like, all right. Kenna did none of the work. Every single day, I worked hard on this assignment, and I gave her ample opportunities to do something. She always put it off. She always talked down to me. She was incredibly disrespectful. And the whole thing about taunting her about being a vegan, she came over to my house And first of all, I didn't know she was a vegan. She came over to my house, and while I was trying to work on something, she opened up my fridge, found a piece of meat, got mad about it, and went away, and like ran away. And the teacher's like, well, now it's a he said, she said. I don't know what to believe. And Liam said, the Google Docs doesn't lie. So he opens it up and says, well, if I go into the revision history, it'll show exactly who did what, correct? And, the teacher's like, yeah, of course, it's Google Docs. And Liam's like, perfect. He opens it up and he shows revision history after revision history after revision history of every single day Liam logging in and doing something. And not a single time Kenna's account came up. And the teacher's like, oh my God. Wait, actually, it's true. You were the one that did everything. And she tried to lie to me to cover it? And Liam's like, yeah, I guess she hasn't used Google Docs enough to know that, it's all there. She must have thought that, like, if she got ahead of it, it was going to seem that, like, I was trying to cover up for me and that she was the one trying to expose it. And he said, do you understand? And he's like, yes, actually. Well, I'll take this presentation right now and I'll look at it and be into consideration. And thank you for letting me know this. So Liam walks back into class. And he's not trying to, like, show victory yet. He has a very blank look, very good poker face. And Kenna is just looking at him with an evil smile. And he, in his head, is like, don't smile back. I know we won. Don't smile back yet. Save it. Savor it. So sure enough, right, a couple days later, they receive their grades. And it's handed back on a little slip of paper. It comes back to Liam, gets an A-. He's like, okay, I'm cool with that. He turns around and has a big smile as he's looking at Kenna. As the teacher's walking back, gives Kenna the slip of paper. The slip of paper says F and then come see me after class. And Liam is just smiling,